Join me on this art tutorial as I take on the challenge of creating a stunning bird using acrylic paint. Let's see if I can bring this colourful creature to life. But before I start on that, I wanted to ask you, did you know that these little birds, they're called Cape Weavers, are the best little fighter pilots? I'm going to tell you a real, true story that happened to me just a couple of weeks ago involving these birds and a boomslang, which is a South African snake, translated is tree snake, a highly poisonous snake that was trying to get into my window. And what happened was truly amazing, so do stay tuned. First of all, I want to take you through some of the paintings I've done previously. These have all been sold, so they really are great little hot sellers. And I love painting birds because my garden's full of these kind of birds. I live in Barrydale, which is in the Western Cape in South Africa, and it's just a hot spot for these beautiful birds. Right, let's get to the tutorial. And yeah, even if you're not an artist, this is actually a nice relaxing way to sit back and check out the painting process. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. And don't forget, I'm going to tell you about that amazing tale with the snake and the birds. So yeah, but let's first get into this tutorial. And as you can see here, I first outline my birds with a black permanent marker. And then I fill in the birds with black acrylic paint. As you can see, I've also already done the background. Now that I do with alcohol markers, and you are going to want to see the tutorial I have on doing that. There's so many different creative ways that you can do a background and then put these birds over as a subject. And it really works out so beautifully. So at the end of this video and in the pinned comments, I'm going to have the video on how to do the alcohol marker backgrounds. Okay, so here I am going to start painting these birds. I do white now. It's all about layering in acrylic, or any paint, oil paint as well. It's really about layers to give it that depth and that tone. So here I'm doing a bit of white mixed with yellow. And yeah, so I'm going to tell you about this wonderful, epic, epic thing that happened to me that kind of changed my life in a way. So let's get started on that. So I was taking a nap in my bedroom one day and I heard this thump, thump, thump on the window. And I looked up and I thought I was having a really bad dream. I was in like an Indiana Jones movie or something. There was this, it was a beautiful snake. It's called a boomslang. Like I said, it's a translation directly from Afrikaans. It means tree snake, but it is a highly venomous snake. And we live out in the sticks. So if I get bitten, the nearest hospital is like an hour drive away. And yeah, that's if they got like anti-venom. So, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was this boomslang knocking its head against the window, boom, boom, boom. And I jumped out the bed and look, I was absolutely mesmerized. And as I was looking at the snake, my husband ran into the room because I was just like, I don't want to say what I was saying, but I was yelling out a profanity. And he rushes in and he was like, "What is that?" Like I said, it's butting its head against the window. It wants to come in. I am petrified. So we were just stunned and we were watching the snake just butting its head against the glass over and over. And then I thought, well, why is it doing that? Is it wanting to get in so desperately? Like, ooh, what's going on? Thank goodness I don't have my windows open. So next thing, we see these yellow Cape Weavers. They're literally lining up in the tree above the snake and dive bombing it, like on its head. I almost had a heart attack. I thought the snake was gonna like bite them, and I was just like freaking out because I love my birds, and we actually have a feeding trough right there by the window. Which is, I'll tell you later when the penny dropped. So they were dive bombing its head, but they were so quick, the snake was actually trying to get through the window to get away from the birds. And, I was like, oh, wow. And so when the penny dropped, they were trying to protect their food source, and their food trough was right there, and they were just attacking the snake. And eventually they were literally lining up and bombing it like little fighter pilots. They really are like little fighter pilots. It was amazing to see. And this snake was big. It was about 2 meters long. It was a big one. It was a male boomslang. And it was really, it opened my eyes to nature and how nature takes care of certain problems. And we've been having a lot of problems with snakes. We've had a female boomslang nesting in our carport, and she would go into the rafters at night, and she's been doing that for about 6 months. And it's, I really don't mind that snake, and they're quite shy, albeit poisonous. But I do have a cat, and you know, when she comes down from the rafters, she does, I have seen her in the garden, drinking water or whatever, she's hunting. So I didn't want anything to happen to my cat because, again, we don't have any vets for like an hour in every direction. We really are in the middle of nowhere here. And we've also had problems with cobras, and we've it actually sounds funny when I start speaking about it, but it wasn't funny at all. We had cobras nesting in our driveway, a male and a female, and we've had cobras nesting in a patch of, we got a flower called a canna. It's a very tall flower, beautiful flower, and it looks a bit like tobacco leaves. And so we've had cobras in there, and we've just had a real snaky snake freaking summer. And we're actually only just going into summer, so it started in winter, funny enough. And the snake catcher we have in our area said it doesn't matter, it's a total myth that snakes hibernate. They don't. So that was my little paradigm shattered right there. But what I'm trying to get at is, it was amazing that nature just takes care of things, from the tiniest little thing, like these little weavers that actually deterred that snake, and it sort of just slithered off, and and went about its business. We couldn't quite see where it'd gone, but haven't seen it since. And as a consequence as well, that I'm feeling so like great that nature's actually taking care of this. Recently I thought, well, what's that, like, what's the natural predator of a cobra? Because we are very concerned. My cat had a face off with the cobra where it was rearing at her, and she was just like looking at it. And yeah, my husband had the forethought of just throwing something in between them, which actually the cobra didn't budge, but the cat did, so she just ran off. So it is a concern. And I was thinking, well, the natural predator is a mongoose. So I'm like, oh, I've got to manifest mongooses, I think it is the plural, mongooses. And as right as rain, we have had a mongoose in our garden. This week he has been visiting us and doing rounds, and he drinks out the pond, and we feed it, well, it seems to like the bread that we give the birds and the oats and stuff. So yeah, so we've actually manifested some mongooses. And isn't it amazing how, I was actually so freaked out about the snake thing that I was ready to move, and I love my home and I love my garden, but I was ready to pack it all in. And then I thought, well, wherever you go, there you are. So you're just going to manifest snakes wherever you move to. And this kind of restored my faith in nature, and how, just whether you like to say pray or affirm what you do want to see happen in your life, it actually happens. And it's quite an amazing story. Anyway, back to the art tutorial. While I've been jabbering on about snakes and mongooses and birds, I hope you've been paying attention to this art tutorial. Okay, so here I'm adding in some shadow work into the gold branch area, just to make it pop a bit and give that sort of 3D quality, because I realized that my birds were a little bit blending too much into the background. So that's why I decided, okay, let me do a little bit of shadow work. And I'm using oil pastel here, so I take a bit of turpentine, and you can use oil pastel on top of this acrylic background. You can use it on top of acrylics in general. Did I say acrylic background? I meant alcohol marker background. You can use oil pastels over both, so that's a great way to just do a kind of translucent shadow effect there. Okay, so now I'm going in with some detail on the feathers and in the eyes and the beaks. It's coming up, but I had such I had such trouble with that bird I'm working on there. I don't know if any of you artists out there have the same problems, but it's not always plain sailing. No matter how many birds you've done, and I've done a fair amount of birds in my life, um, you always gonna get like you're gonna get stuck at some point, and I got so stuck on that bird on the right. So I left it in the video because we aren't all perfect, and I painted that dude's face. I don't know how many times, and was just not happy with its beak and its eye, and there was just something out of alignment. And now I've painted it and it looks like an angry bird. And so yeah, you're gonna see me kind of going over it and over it and over it. And I thought, no, do I cut it out? Do I leave it in? I've left it in because this is part of art and experimenting, and you're not gonna always get it right, and you're gonna have those days where you want to tear your hair out like I almost did here. But eventually, I stuck with the program, and I think I got it right in the end after like 100 attempts. There you can see I'm like, gosh, what's going on here? No, no, no. So please comment below if this happens to you as well. No matter how trained you are in what you do, and how many decades of experience you've had, you still have these like hiccups in painting. You just have bad painting days, I guess. And it's like infuriating because I did the other bit like fine, and then this one's like beaks too big, beaks too small, eyes look angry, eye needs to be in a totally different place. Anyway, there I go, making mistakes. As I said before, I am going to put that video on how to do alcohol marker backgrounds in the pinned comment below and in the description. I've also got a link to my gallery in the description where you can buy my originals and prints. And what else can I tell you? Yes, I've also got other bird tutorials. I've got a sugar bird painting tutorial, which I will also link at the end of the video and in the pinned comments. So do go and explore some of my other tutorials. If you're into dragonflies, I've done 2 dragonfly tutorials. And yeah, go check out all my art tutorials. Let me know in the comments below also, like, what region do you stay in? What part of the world? And in your beautiful paradise part of the world, what kind of birds do you see? Are you a bird watcher? Are you a keen bird enthusiast? I'd love to hear in the comments below what kind of birds you have in your garden. The other thing you may not want to miss is how I use this gold foil in my paintings. I have a video on that as well, and what I use as the gold foil. It might surprise you. It's actually quite delicious, and I will link that also in the pinned comments below, so do check that out. And there you go, I've finished. So what do you think? Do you think I got that iron beak right? I'm still having doubts. Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. I really appreciate all of you out there who do that and helping my channel grow. You guys are fantastic. Thanks so much. Bye.